Hey folks, my name is Pravus and welcome to more Plague Inc. Evolved. At this point, the Xenolith has been in the game for about 2 weeks, which means you guys have had plenty of time to go hunting for those secret endings, so now I'm going to go ahead and spoil all of them in this video. All in all, there were 5 achievements introduced on Steam for the Xenolith, 2 of which you'll get just by beating the game on Mega Brutal. The other 3 are for the secret endings, and as you might suspect, all of those tie into the special unique genetic codes that I showed off at the end of the guide video. That's going to be Star Shards, Synaptic Pulse, and Void Signal. Each one of these has their own secret ending, and we're going to be going through each of them in this video and showing you exactly what steps to take and what ending you're going to get. Let's start with the Star Shards. Meteors and asteroids penetrate more deeply into the Earth. On its face, this does not seem to do anything for you, but there is a specific order of operations you can take, and that's going to help you get the ending. Now, we're going to be playing on a normal difficulty. You do not have to do this on Mega Brutal in order to get the achievement or the secret ending. Heck, you could even do it on Casual if you want, but I just can't quite bring myself to do it. Let's go ahead and start in China, as we often do, because it's a decent starting location for our Xenolith. But I do recommend we change up the build order just a bit here. First things first, we're going to go ahead and grab some of these human traits right off the bat. Why? Because the extra severity is going to lead to extra DNA, and we do need that early game DNA. Could even pick up the skeletal integration, and I will do that. Let's also grab the lithic seed, and after this, all I really care about is focusing on meteors. The first one is going to be free, but there are 4 additional levels we want to pursue. You have to get all the way down to the bottom, so at this point, all I care about doing is sitting back and just gathering up DNA so we can pick all of those up. That's it. Nothing else really matters here. Now, funnily enough, this is actually a viable strategy to beat this on Mega Brutal as well. In fact, funnily enough, when I first played this before it even came out, I told the dev, hey, I beat it on Mega Brutal. And he's like, ha, did you use the meteor strategy? Because it seems like that's the cheesiest way to go. I didn't even know that was a thing at the time, but basically all you're going to do is destroy all the continents in one big shot. And if you rush for it, it's a pretty consistent way of beating it on Mega Brutal. The problem is you get a terrible score, so I just could not do it. We need 24 DNA points to get the last level I'm looking for with the meteors, so let's get up to that point. It's just going to be a little bit longer. Sitting around and waiting is kind of the name of the game on this particular scenario, unfortunately, so what can you do? So we have Armageddon right along over here. So now this is going to be an extinction-level asteroid, destroys entire continents. All you need to do is launch 5 meteors at the same place. So let's say I just want to launch one into France for, reasons. Boom! Say goodbye to all of Europe. I'll go ahead and collect all these points real quick. Technically, Europe is probably the best continent to launch at. And the problem is, unfortunately, the asteroid is going to be getting more expensive every time that you use it. You can click on this little question mark right here, and it tells you right now it's going to be 11 DNA for our next round, then it's going to be like 22, and then so on and so forth. It just gets progressively more and more expensive, unfortunately. This is why having the extra severity is, in fact, a very useful thing to do. So let's go ahead and launch a third one. Boom. All right, GCOM's trying to... Well, say goodbye, GCOM. That was unfortunate timing for you guys, but you've now exploded. Now it's going to be $33, and then it's going to be like $44 or something like that. So all we can do is sit around and wait. And yeah, the research is going to be going here, unfortunately. If we were playing on Casual, this wouldn't be so much of an issue. I'm kind of pushing it a little tiny bit, but that's fine. And the worst thing that could happen is the humans end up sending up some anti-missile stuff at the worst possible time. That could be a thing as well, but hopefully it's going to be all right. There's our 4th meteor. Now we need 44 DNA. I'm just going to sit back and wait for a little bit. There it is, 44. Launch it at France. Here comes the meteor. Oh, humans, you thought you were safe, but no! Tiberium shatters the Earth. Relentless orbital bombardment catastrophically fractures the planet, sending billions of crystalline shards into the void. The cycle continues. Whatever our xenocrystal is, it literally just blew up the planet. We win. Congratulations. That's one secret ending down. Horrendous score! Not what I would recommend under most circumstances. Okay, let's move on to the second of the secret endings. This focuses around Synaptic Pulse. Crystal alignment sends complex waves into the Xenolith. Of the 3 secret endings, this is the hardest one to pull off, but we should be fine. Again, normal difficulty. Let's go ahead and start off in China. So you want to play this one kind of normally. Your goal is to get into every country and get your xenoforming up to about 85%. And then instead of focusing on your meteors, you're going to end up focusing on this crystal alignment ability. We will want to pick that up pretty early on. For now, let's just go ahead and focus on some of the basics. I need to get my severity up so we can get myself some extra DNA. Normal things at this point. You're just going to be playing this very normally. But you do want to focus on spreading the actual xenoforming, unlike with the last one where it didn't really matter. This time it does still matter. Let's go ahead and grab that crystal alignment, and I'm going to use it immediately in a place like China. Why? Well, because every time you use this, you increase the number of charges of crystal alignment that you can hold on to. So normally by default you can only have 1 charge stored up. Now it can store 2 charges, then 3, then 4, and your goal is to have 5. 5 is your max capacity. Once you have a max capacity of 5, you are not going to touch this ability until you have 5 charges stored up, by which point you want 85% xenoforming and every country in the world fully infected. So let's just go ahead and keep using this as needed, start building up that capacity. As I was saying, that's fine. We're going to go ahead and just focus on anything that boosts up xenoforming. We will at some point want to use things like the Crystal Bloom. I'll go ahead and slow down the investigation just to buy a smidge extra time, but I'll be honest, it is not going to do a lot. Pick this up as well, get into other neighboring countries, good, starting to get some progress, cool. So once we start seeing ourselves getting a lot of population infected in places like China, that's where we're going to do things like the Shatter, so I don't mind picking up the skeletal integration as well, just to go ahead and start hitting the humans a little bit faster. That's a good way of farming out DNA just so I can get into things, but more importantly, with the Shatter, we'll be able to get this Crystal Bloom ability so we can infect other countries. That includes islands. It just saves me the trouble of having to go for things like the Meteor. You could do the Meteor. That's perfectly fine and if you're having a hard time, but I'd rather avoid it if we can. Let's go ahead and grab the subsurface fracturing plus the lattice optimization, lead to things like tectonic anchoring so we can spread a lot faster. This is looking good so far. Okay, happy with this. How are we doing as far as infection in places like China? Pretty good, overall pretty good. Let's grab that tectonic anchoring now. I'm not getting into mostly islands or into North and South America, which is an issue. We're starting to infect a few people. I actually totally forgot we need to keep doing this. I'm sorry, hold on, keep doing some more of these charges. We're up to 5 now. Okay, so now we sit on this and do absolutely nothing. Cool. So let's go ahead and grab the Crystal Bloom, the Cascade, the Unstable Construct, and the Resonance, and we're going to do a quick Shatter on a place like China. Go boom. All right. So that's going to infect pretty much the rest of the world. There might be a couple of stragglers here and there, but the more important thing is that we are everywhere. Are we in Madagascar? Yeah, we are in Madagascar now. Okay, so anything I thought I was missing, the game was still just struggling. So now we're at 200 DNA. That's pretty good. We'll grab Field Persistence level 1 and 2. I'm not going to go for Tectonic Amplification yet because it's slower to recharge. I don't know if this is going to affect my current charge rate, but I assume it will. I will, however, pick this up as soon as I know that I have 5 charges. So now we sit back and we wait for our xenoforming to go up as much as we can. We could start boosting up things like, let's say, macrocrystallization. That's pretty good, so I'll do that. That could lead to silicate purism, totally fine. Ionic displacement, slow down the cure. How is that cure? Pretty high. Let's go ahead and grab 2 levels of atomic reconfiguration. Slow it down a little bit. You get the idea. I'm also going to grab replicating lattice, molecular cleavage. Let's go for the void geometry. Totally fine. Waiting and waiting and waiting. That's all I'm doing right now is waiting for these charges to build up. 5 is what I'm shooting for. So I'm going to check back periodically over here and just count these out. It's going to be at least a few months. Hopefully we don't have to worry about the cure until it's too late. Do be careful, by the way. You do not want to accidentally xenoform the entire planet, because that is also a good way of messing up. Let's go ahead and do a quick Shatter over here, just killing off a lot of cure progress and stuff. Once you get to 85%, what I honestly recommend doing is just devolving a bunch of stuff, because you don't need it to be any higher than this. So I'm actually going to start getting rid of things like the tectonic anchoring, the lattice optimization, all this stuff. Let's get that geophage down to like nothing. I know this sounds really counterintuitive, and it is, but this is what you gotta do, I'm sorry. Good news is you actually get points back for all of it, so I mean, like, no biggie. There we go, that's what I wanted to see, thank you. We've got 3 charges, waiting for 2 more. There's my 5 charges. At this point, go ahead and pause. 85%, every country infected. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and pick up tectonic amplification. So now our crystal alignment affects the entire continent. What this means is, as long as the game is now paused, I can drop a crystal alignment in all continents, and it's going to hit every nation in the world at the same time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom. The planet awakens. Tiberium has transformed the Earth into a flawless planetary-sized neural network. The newly formed consciousness doesn't even notice the remains of humanity. And there you go. You've now got another achievement. There can only be one. All right, let's move on to the third and final secret ending. This is going to be with Void Signal. Xenolith emits high-intensity pulses across the electromagnetic spectrum when damaged. This one plays kinda similarly to the last one. We still want to get 85% of the planet xenoformed, but instead of using the crystal amplification, this one focuses on shattering. We need to shatter 50% of the world's population all in one shot. That's it. While the planet is at 85% xenoforming. There is one other trick that's really easy to forget. There's a trait down here you have to get first. Easy to oversee, but as long as you just follow a pretty standard, normal playthrough, you're going to be completely fine. Try to get some severity up a little bit early, just extra points and stuff, especially on a normal difficulty, is probably a better way to go. I'm going to grab things with the skeletal integration. Remember, what you really care about is just going to be the infection. That's it. So some of these extra traits along here that boost up infectivity are pretty good. Cellular mimicry, this is one of the things that we really do need to get. I'm going to get the replicating lattice and stuff first, though. Anything that's going to slow down the cure is pretty nice. Molecular cleavage is nice. You get the idea, that kind of stuff. I don't mind also grabbing something like, let's say, the crystal alignment. That's pretty good. Also, we'll grab a meteor, and I'm just going to go ahead and launch a couple of meteors into North and South America kind of right away, just so I know that I don't have to worry about boats and stuff just to get into those continents. We'll go ahead and start the spread pretty early on. Let's grab that cleavage and then just go ahead and focus on the xenoforming. They're starting to work on the research. That's fine. As long as I've got my presence in North and South America, I don't care if they set up any anti-asteroid defenses. That's not going to matter. Despite the temptation, by the way, do not use a shatter this time around. You do not want to accidentally kill off a big chunk of the human population too early. You want to leave nations like China and India in particular intact. Otherwise, you're going to just regret all of your life decisions. Let's go ahead and grab a couple levels of here with the amplification. That'll speed things up in places like Europe, which is going to be pretty much one of the big things you need. Another one up in North America wouldn't be bad. I am accidentally launching meteors. I'm hitting the wrong hotkey because I got these in a different order. Ha ha ha! Whoops, that's not what I meant to do, but it's fine. It's fine. Who even cares? Just go ahead and keep boosting it up and you'll be all right. I'm going to grab the subsurface fracturing. Let's get the lattice optimization. Remember, just like last time, do not accidentally fully xenoform the planet. If it looks like that sort of thing is going to happen, then you're going to need to make sure you devolve a bunch of this stuff. Speaking of devolving, let's go ahead and slow down the human cure. Grab some of this over here. I'll probably pick up stuff like the void geometry. You shouldn't really be hurting too much for things like DNA on this scenario, even without the shatter. As long as you're not playing on Mega Brutal, it's going to be completely fine. So I'm not going to pick up the cellular mimicry yet because it slows down the xenoforming, and technically I need that xenoforming more than I need the infection. As long as half the world's population is infected, you can feel pretty secure. I'm going to go ahead and grab the shatter, the cascade, and the resonance cascade. That's technically all we need. Anything beyond that is not required. It's nice to get the extra DNA, but you're going to win anyway, so who actually cares? Let's go ahead and do a quick thing there, and another one down here in Africa. I'm just trying to speed this up. Try to get that xenoforming up above 85% as fast as possible, especially before the humans are able to do anything. Looking good so far. What else are we missing? Canada could use a bit more. We need another charge. That's fine. Whatever. It doesn't matter. We are at 76%. Again, 85% is the magic number. There we go. We'll go ahead and pop that over there. 80% reached. 83. There we go. We're done. All right. Now, we're going to go to our structure. We're going to grab cellular mimicry, and we're going to grab metabolic siphon. You have to have that trait. Otherwise, this isn't going to work. Good news is, for shatter, you by default are going to have 2 capacity, which means we can use it 2 times. And as long as you have the resonant cascade, everything except for the islands is all going to die in one shot. So we're going to do 1 cascade here, 1 cascade here, doesn't matter. Boom. The entire world dies in one shot, and Tiberium signals the void. The crystalline network emits a series of devastatingly powerful electromagnetic pulses. Something stirs in the darkness between stars. Earth awaits its new masters. We have made the planets ready for our overlords. And there we go. You have the third and final achievement. And there we go, folks. All of the unique endings for the Xenolith in one video. I really like that the devs did this. I think this is a pretty clever use of the genetic code system to get people hunting for something that seems kind of ominous and difficult to find. Of course, people data mined it like right away, but for those of you who are actually on the hunt, good for you guys. And if you couldn't find it and you got frustrated, well, hopefully this video does help you out. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If so, I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe. Be sure to join the Discord if you want to talk more Plague Inc. And I will see you guys next time.